Hi everyone, I'm Lewis.
And hi everyone, I am Aldo.
And welcome to the Recruitment Show. It's been really nice coming back to the office. We moved to a new place, which has been really nice, and lots of space. The team are coming in and out when they wish. Everyone can work from everywhere, which has been really nice. I think the new buzzword, my new buzzword is work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's been cool. And I think for this podcast, we wanted to speak about adjusting to this new normal.
How's it been for you, Lewis, so far?
Well, the early part, I mean, we couldn't have any balance because no one wanted to.
True.
You can't see people.
True.
So we were doing a lot of virtual stuff. So we've been doing a 2 p.m. call, like team call, 30 minutes, unstructured. So we haven't said, we've got to talk about this or that. Just left it really open for people to just chat. And I think that's been really cool.
Yeah.
Although no one said they've hated it.
But, not yet.
But I think it's good. It's just been a forum where, people can check in and they can say what they're feeling and what's going on. We've kept it a COVID-free zone.
Yeah.
We haven't had any kind of negative COVID stats and stuff on there. It started out like that, but then a lot of people were like, I don't really want to speak about COVID right now.
It's our temple of positivity, right?
Yeah. So I think that's been good because it's nice to step out of it because so many WhatsApp groups now are like my friend's girlfriend's half brother's wife said, and then they've quote some COVID stuff. And then
I mute them. I tend to mute them.
That's it.
Or delete.
It took a time to get into that, right?
Yes, true.
To start with, everyone was wanted to speak about COVID, and everyone's like, I don't want to speak about COVID all the time, and I want to be. I mean, who doesn't want to feel positive? I think the thing I've learned actually is this is a quote, not my quote, but everyone's in the same river in a different boat. Everyone's experiencing the same thing that's out of their control, but they're having a different experience individually. Whether they're anxious, whether they're not, whether they are enjoying virtual calls, whether not, whatever it is, you have to appreciate everyone's in a different spot. Yeah, I think the new working patterns, because remember, we're talking about work from home and video. Only if you're lucky enough to do an office job, because you got to remember that many people have to go to work.
True.
If you're working for the NHS, if you're you're security guy, dustbin man, whatever it is, right? There's loads of jobs where you don't get the luxury of choosing to stay at home. And for those people, they're still out, grinding, working hard. Postmen, delivery guys. Amazon have kept the country going, haven't they? Delivering. So even throughout lockdown, you've had people that have been out working. You've got to be, you've got to remember that a lot of people don't get the luxury. So if you are doing an office job, you get the luxury now of almost choosing where and when you work.
Yeah.
Well, let's say where and when, but certainly where you work. So you can do the work from home, work from office, work from anywhere, which is a great thing. And then those working patterns have certainly changed.
And what we think is a working pattern from someone working outside. So someone that has to be outside. So for example, being more careful or communicating where she is.
Well, I think now it's everyone's wearing masks now, and before, not many people, you didn't see many masks in London.
Yeah.
Everyone's washing their hands more. Everyone's being a little bit more respectful of distance. People are staying at home if they're ill, whereas before you'd come in as a trooper. Even if you're ill, you're like, hey, I'm ill, I'm still coming into work. Now it's not cool. And also in the city, where we are in London, for office workers, there's hardly anyone here right now. The last week, the government have told people to only come in if they have to, whereas a few weeks ago, they were encouraging people to come in. It's still a very funny moment, when you walk around town and there's no one around. Pret a Manger have been offering £20 a month for 5 coffees every day. If my maths is right, that's 190 coffees a month for 20 quid or something like that. A lot of stuff has changed. I think the danger with being able to work from home and stuff is that there's a few. I think productivity. You need to find a way to be productive. If you're young and you haven't worked much, you need to learn how to work. You might not even know how you are most productive. You're not learning from your manager. You're not going in and learning how to operate in a work environment. You're not learning from, so you have to be much more.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And if I think about the years when I started my career, it was key for me in Vital to have a team surrounding me. For me, it was key because otherwise I wouldn't have learned so many things. It was all about interacting with my managers, with my peers. Well, we were not having that choice at the moment, but that's really, really important.
When I come in, I sit next to you. I'm always learning. Right?
Or in front. Because we have hot desks, by the way. Yes.
Apart, of course.
Yeah. So I love this hot desking now.
Yeah.
So we can sit wherever we want.
We have a Dettol spray. Everyone has to spray. We have a thermometer. We have a spray before and after you get in. New working pattern.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, although it's nice to be at home, there's also the level of people who have been struggling with their mental health has increased. I don't know what the actual stats are, but from listening and reading stuff, they seem to have increased massively. So you need to see people. You need face-to-face contact. I mean, if you're in a flat, shared flat, and you're working from your bedroom, I mean, that's not sustainable. You're not doing your commutes, you're missing out on your exercise.
Yeah.
It's really great to move just for your head, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're out for a walk or for a run or go to the gym or something, you just feel great, all these endorphins. But if you're rolling out of bed, or not even getting out of bed, but reaching to get your laptop, doing your work, working harder, longer, right? Maybe or maybe not more productive, who knows? But certainly that isn't, and you get this burnout, and people aren't taking holiday days because they don't want to take a holiday day in England because the weather's not great or whatever. Or they're anxious, or they don't want to go and see people they don't know from a random, I think people, for me anyway, personally, I love coming in because I don't want to stay at home all the time. I love my commute because, and even if it's on the train, I've been getting a train and bus or whatever, is because I get to move in the morning. So that half an hour to an hour commute, for me, I look at it as like almost an exercise. It's like not wasted time. Yeah. It's not wasted time for me. It's like it's actually valuable time. It's I'm on my own. No one's speaking to me. It's my like alone time.
Yeah.
If I'm getting the tube or a bus or a train, I have my headphones in, listen to a podcast or something. Or sometimes I just want to not listen to anything and just have things. Just listen and watch people, as you go on the train, which is quite relaxing. So for me, I'm better when I come in because I'm at work, I'm in my mindset of work, and then when I get home, then it's home, and then I can relax and I switch off. But what I found, the beginning of lockdown was when your home is your work, and if you're not strict about like your exercise times and your etc.
Yes, you end up working. Yeah, you end up working longer hours, and for me, I had an experience personally that I try to set up my workout at lunchtime when I'm working from home, but it's very difficult to stick to it because I realize that I have pending things to do or a call pending, and instead of taking that time to go do my exercise, I end up working until 8 in the evening, and then I'm already too tired to do my exercise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works for different people, but you've got to remember that, the working day is the working day, and you're working in the working day. I mean, some people like exercising at lunchtime, morning, afternoon, whatever's good for you, I think. But the thing I find with exercising in the afternoon is it takes me like 2-3 hours just to like come down from my like endorphins of. So I personally prefer morning or evening. But yeah, you've got to find the right balance for whatever works for you. Everyone's different. In fact, I did a poll on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've been liking my polls on LinkedIn. They've been quite good.
Yeah.
And I did one on The Office, and I just said, I just asked, if you had the choice, would you like to work at home 100%, office 100%, or combination? And it was like, high 80-90% of people want a combination. Like very few people wanted to work at home 100% of the time. Everyone wants the office as part of their life. Our team, everyone wants the office as part of their life. Some want to come in more than others, but everyone wants a place where they can come and meet people.
These people are going back to the office, thinking of going back to the office in around January or February 2021. So many of them, they are probably working from Spain or working from Italy or working from France. I don't think that would work for me, because I think that I have to be somehow engaged or related with my colleagues, and if I don't get to see them, I don't say every day, but at least get to interact with them in person.
Yeah, if you're doing a job where you don't have to go into the office. In fact, if you're doing a job where your office is closed, because there's quite a few places that are closed,
Yeah.
then I mean, it doesn't really matter where you're off to. But then I've got a very good friend of mine who's a sales director, and his sales manager turned around to him and said, I think I'm going to move to Devon. And my friend, the sales director, said, well, that's nice, but I don't think you'll have a job. And he said, well, you can't say that, I should be able to work from anywhere. And the guy said, well, look, the people that you need to sell to they happen to be in London. So the job requires you being in London 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he said, look, I wonder how many people would apply for that job if I put it on LinkedIn. Like thousands, right? So, there's also that. It's, yes, people are thinking about what's best for them, which is great. And the thing that comes out of this is, I think this work from anywhere and people can organise their lives. Then there's the other side of, like, companies need people to do jobs. Mm-hmm. And certain jobs require you being either in the office 5 days, or some you won't even be able to go into the office. Like some companies have said, we don't have an office, which also doesn't suit people. I've got a friend of mine whose office has been permanently closed and they do not have a physical office anymore. So his whole job is from home, which doesn't suit him. He wants to come and see people, so he's like, a lot of interesting things coming up.
Yeah, it depends. Obviously, how's your home setup? I mean, there's people who are fortunate enough to have their own separated studio, but then if it's when you have to deal with the family and everyone's there, I guess it's difficult to concentrate, to focus. And I think that they need the space to leave during the day and come back to you can relax. But I agree. I'm a people's person. I like to interact in face to face. I know that it's not possible at the moment for most of the cases, and I'm missing that. I'm still trying to adapt and adapting through time about the video calls and about other ways to interact. But obviously, the face to face is my favorite.
Yeah. So just to sum up, I think for the work from anywhere, different companies are doing different things. So whether they don't have an office anymore, whether some jobs require an office, whether your job requires 5 days a week, I think more and more companies need to think about, or are thinking about, what their story is, like what they're telling people. And it's an important thing for people. Like some people, it's really important that they don't have to come into an office. Others, that they can come into an office. Again, as people are looking for new jobs and moving companies, these are some of the most important things that people are thinking about right now.
We really talked about this before, but people who are applying for jobs with the new reel, if you cannot network, it comes to, as well, at least trying to arrange the video calls, right? At least to arrange this type of interaction.
To find a job, I mean, you can always network. It doesn't have to be face-to-face. There's loads of virtual networking going on now. And if you ask people to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes with you, everyone's happy to do a video call, So if you're out of work looking for a new job, then network like crazy virtually. If people want to meet you, great, but you can do it from home and you can meet more people, you can contact more people. Everyone's happy to have a chat. Despite being at home, you can have a successful job search virtually, and despite what you read in the papers, people are hiring. And in fact, I think it's a good time. Be positive, look around, network like crazy, and put your effort in. Do your best.
Great,
awesome, good to chat.
Yes, good to chat. Speak soon.